Women with brass ovaries are women that are real, that are authentic at all costs, and that aren't afraid anymore of trying to cover up their shortcomings and their weaknesses and their fears.
Women with brass ovaries have a mindset. They're comfortable in their skin. They are true. They are authentic. They know when to ask for help. They have vision, and it is a no fear approach. When you truly own your brass, you have no fear, and the fear means whether I success or whether there's failure. And oh, by the way, the failure means I learned something. So I think it's vulnerability, open, savviness, snappiness, all that. What I see instead is a woman who apologizes for everything. I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. That whole litany of excuses when there's no excuses necessary. I mean, we say, I'm sorry, for God's sakes, everything. So what I see is demure. What I see is somebody who thinks that there's scarcity and that there can only be one at the table. What I see is an inability to share, to ask for help, and that it's okay to be you and that you don't have to be the perfect person all the time. That's what I see instead. Lots of just shy, introverted, uncomfortable, highly apologetic, lack of confidence. That's what I see. I see it physically in their presence, and I hear it in their tone. They do not own the room.
I see that too, and it's sad because it resonates with me because that was me at one point. And I know what it looks like, but I also know what it feels like firsthand. And it is exhausting. At some point, anyone is going to have to give up. And, we can't maintain that perfect image all the time. I think for so many women, we're so worried about what people think and will people like us and accept us that we very seldomly stop and say, do we like ourselves? Do we accept ourselves? And that's really what we hope to do in this, is to show women that the key to getting over that fear is to look at yourself and say, I do accept you. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and the not so good enough, all of it. That's why we created the book. We know that just a book isn't going to be the key to moving out of that place of fear, but it's hearing the stories that we're going to share from women all over that have been there and done that. And I think that's what's so freeing, and it was for me in my experience, is you need to hear and see that other women have stepped out of that place of fear, have taken that risk, and that it's okay. And we believe that reading the stories in this book and the testimonies that these other women are sharing is going to inspire you and give you that it's okay, that permission to step out of your own place of fear.
The book for me has a little bit of a different transformation. So I certainly am caught by saying I'm sorry a lot. But I was a little bit on the other spectrum of it, in the fact that I was the one who they had to rein in and tame down a little bit. Of owning my brass ovaries maybe a little bit earlier than when it was really accepted to own them. So for me, this is listening, tuning into the stories, to not just the women, but the stories of the people that you're talking to, and understanding that their lives have molded them to who they are, how they act, how they behave, how they react. And going through and hearing these stories from these women just opened up a whole nother perspective in that. So the book hopefully will do that to a multitude of generations, because it's not just the story, it's not just a thought and then a story, but it's also the opportunity to dig into yourself at the end of each chapter. And we've got a clearing the closet at the end. It's an exercise to make it come alive for you. So it's about moving from you all have them, but about owning them and being really proud and comfortable. I think we both agree, we just want you to be comfortable in your own skin. And there's a Good Old Boys Network, and we want to have a community of a Good Old Girls Network. It's really important for women to have a sisterhood. There's lots of books about sisterhood, and we know that that's really important, to be able to really have the confidant. And we all have maybe a significant other, but a sisterhood is really different from your significant other. One thing about while writing this book that we both realized is that originally there were going to be separate chapters dedicated to a woman or a business. And when we started the research behind it and the interviews, the themes started popping out, and that's what you see in the book today. It's a woven theme of fear was commonality, not asking for help was commonality, not having a board of advisors was commonality. So the reality is, whether you're here in Virginia or whether you're in London or whether you're in Japan, the reality is, as a woman, we have these similarities, and we realize that writing the book. And the transformation can happen regardless of where you live, regardless of your age, regardless of how many years you've been in business, been there, done that. I grew up in a family-owned business. I went into a large corporation for years, went into the franchise world before owning my own business. All of these things, wow, if I had known, would have been awesome. Who knows what would have been different, but it would have been awesome. And I think I would have been even more awesome. Even though I'm comfortable now, I would have been a better me if I'd known.
We all know social media has been on the rise years and years, and what it has caused to happen is that people, and women specifically, we put out what we want people to see about us. And it's not because we want to be something we're not, but we want to share positive. We want to share the celebrations, the things, the trauma that we go through, or the negative things that we go through in life. We want to keep close to home, and they're more private and personal. So we're not sharing them on social media. So what happens is we live life through a filter, and other women only see that perfect part of us, the part we want them to see. And we as women tend to compare ourselves to others. So we start comparing ourselves to each other, saying, how does she do it? She's, never misses a beat. She's always on top of her game. But they don't see what happens when you go home, or at the end of the workday, or at the end of the week. And this, you're never going to see anywhere else except this book, where women are actually letting their hair down, taking the makeup off, the mask off, and being their real authentic selves, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the things that they don't share over social media. They don't even share on girls' night, around the dinner table, or, out for drinks. It's things that don't even come up then, and we want to change that.
From a transformation of writing the book, it's definitely been therapy. We laugh, we'll be on the phone or email, and like, oh my gosh, so-and-so just happened, and we got to put that in the book. Or, oh my gosh, I found through research that, da-da-da. So for me, it's to listen to people with different eyes and ears, and to realize that there is a person and a story, and we all have a story, and it's what we do with our story that makes us different and makes us unique, and allows us, quite frankly, to own them or not. It is absolutely a choice. You either choose to own them or you don't. So for me, the transformation is listen with a higher sense of empathy, I think, is mine, and to calm down, to slow down. Calm, slow, focused, authentic, intentional, and love every second of it.
It's been a process, a learning process. I wouldn't say there was a transformation that just happened before the book. It's an ongoing transformation as we are all in. Like Shelley alluded to, there are times where she will call me out on something that I need to step up to the plate and own my brass on, and we laugh and giggle. But really, it's, one of the things I think reasons why we get along so well is that we both walk our talk. In all aspects of life. And so, in line with that, staying in what we're representing in the book, we still don't have it all figured out, and we're still figuring it out as we go. And I think writing the book, hearing the stories, seeing the synergy, the things that are the same across all of these different testimonies that women are sharing are daily, or, if not daily, then, every other. It's there's a series of aha moments for each of us, where we say, oh yeah, I never really got that piece of it, or oh, me too, and we're still going through that. So there's not any place you get to where you're transformed and you're at that state of enlightenment.
Check, I'm there.
Yeah, and that's the key, is that you're not there. We're not there yet. We're still going through it. So, even now we're always learning as we go through this process.
We're taking our message on the road, and we're coming to a city near you.
So get ahead of the game. Grab yours today at BrassOvariesOwnYours.com.